It was a brand new setting, a brand new start. This time, I wouldn't make the mistake of being the sheep getting attacked by the wolf. This time it would be different. And the only thing in my head was, if I become the wolf, I won't have any more problems. Middle school was going to be a whole different situation. I did whatever it took to intimidate other students, from pushing people out of the way to talking down to them. And I found myself having all the power, the one in control. Not as I was before back in elementary school. It was at East San Jose Elementary School where I was a sheep, where I was bullied. Most people's childhood consisted of being on the playground, playing tag, tetherball, or hide and seek, which were all the usual games. But unlike everyone else's, I was always impatiently waiting for the recess bell to ring. I found myself counting the minutes, gazing to see when the knob would punch the bell. This meant that all the teachers would be around to oversee everything. I was always so afraid of the bully coming around the corner to beat me up, pick on me, or make fun of me in front of all his friends. I would go home exhausted of running away and hiding, trying to cover up any bruises I had or my watery eyes. All these insults stayed in my bottled head, like a knife to the chest. I struggled to get myself out of bed before school every day. As I walked on campus, I would examine every hallway and every corner to make sure that he wouldn't pop out and hurt me. All I wanted to do was go to school and learn about the universe, the earth, do all these cool experiments. But I began to hate school. I never wanted to go anymore, all because of the wolf that would hunt me, walking around campus, following me, waiting for the perfect moment to attack when no one was near. I thought back to when my cousin took her life because of bullying. Living for her, I was going to outlive my nightmare. I knew it would be over soon. It was all a test of endurance. The time to make up for my mistakes had come. I dropped my backpack on the ground, a few yards away from the sheep I was aiming for, and my legs started to move faster. I was a panther that was getting closer to its target. He looked in my direction, and we made eye contact. I was more than positive that he saw me coming for him. I could see it in his smug little face, and as I walked towards him, I could feel it in my clenching fists that I was ready. Ready to feel better, ready to make sure that he felt the way I had felt years ago in elementary school. So I picked him up. I slammed him up against the fence, and then towards the floor. As his body was on the floor, I headed towards him so that I could hit him in the face again. In the background, boys and girls that I knew were yelling and shouting at me. "What the hell's your problem? Dude, fucking stop." They tried to pull me off, but I was in my zone. I was in a state of comfort. Not the best type of zone to be in, but there I was. A semicircle rounded by the sheep, trying to lift him up as he was non-responsive. But my back was turned, and I walked with my head hanging down, because I knew what I did was not right. I was not right. But the only punishment I had received was suspension for a couple of days. But that wasn't what relieved my soul. The look in his eyes was familiar, shaking and terrified. Kind of like me. That was me. When it was all over, there was an awakening. I realized that I had become what I had feared many years prior. My two closest friends talked with me, and it helped me realize that I hadn't solved anything. I had actually only become the threat that I would run from every day. I quickly apologized to the kid I had beaten up, and then I started to look out for total strangers at my school, making sure that if I had seen anyone bully someone else, I would make sure it would come to an end. There is much more than being feared. Being feared is the worst, and should never be something anyone desires. Being admired, being respected, and being a person that others would want to follow and have a true connection with is a priceless emotion. When I was a wolf, times were gray. There was a drastic change in my mood and behavior towards those around me. The change was dramatic, going from this disliked, arrogant asshole to an admired friend. Better attitudes, positive vibes. This had been a new way of living, and I couldn't have ever been happier. Being in a healthier state of mind opens up so many different opportunities within peers, or perhaps even in academics. It's real easy to destroy what's already been created, but to produce is the hardest part. I mean that it's easy to make someone feel terrible about themselves, but what's even harder is to lift their hurt feelings.